of works on paper. Experience a feast for the eyes with 89 new artworks on view, along with selections from past exhibits, each one demonstrating a wide variety of creative approaches to paper as a medium. The celebration begins with a public opening on Saturday, September 24th from 6 to 9 p.m. Brand 50 will be on view until December 30th at the Brand Library and Arts Center at 1601 West Mountain Street in Glendale, California.
Good afternoon and welcome to the regular meeting of the City of Glendale Commission on the Status of Women. Our meetings are open to the public and can be viewed on local cable charter cable channel 6 and AT&T UVerse channel 99. The meeting can also be viewed online at www.glendaleca.gov by scrolling all the way to the bottom of the page and selecting live streaming, which is the third icon from the left. Members of the public are welcome to provide public comments and questions in person, or can call in during the meeting at 818-937-8100. City staff will submit these questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person during this Commission on the Status of Women meeting. Before we begin, I would like to request that the Commission close tonight's meeting in memory of Shirak Kojayan, husband of Commissioner Seda Kojayan. Shirak was a beloved husband, father, grandfather, and brother. He passed away on August 13, shortly after our last Commission meeting. We extend our deepest condolences to you, Commissioner Kojayan, and your entire family.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
May I have roll call, please?
Commissioner Brisalian,
Present.
Commissioner Kojayan,
Present.
Chair Lambalot,
Present.
Commissioner Perrian, Commissioner Tatians, ex officio Gonzalez, ex officio Roth.
Present.
Thank you. Ms. Harris, next item, please.
Pardon me, Chair Lambalot, before we move forward, I just wanted to let you know that Commissioner Tatians, who's our newest commissioner on the Commission on the Status of Women, is unable to join this meeting due to a long-standing conflict, but wanted to pass along that she's eager to join you at the next meeting.
Wonderful, thank you. Next item, please, Ms. Harris.
Next item is 2 regular business agenda, report of recorder, posting of agenda. The agenda for the November 14, 2022 regular meeting of the Commission on the Status of Women was posted on or before November 10, 2022 on the bulletin board outside City Hall. Item 3, introductions and presentations. 3A, YWCA, Glendale and Pasadena, domestic violence programs and services.
Okay, we have Elizabeth Sahigun. Did I say that correctly? Okay. The Director of Domestic Violence Programs at the YWCA, here to provide us with a presentation. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Elizabeth Sagun, and I am the Director of the DV Programs and Operations. I am here to share with you information on YWCA Glendale and Pasadena's emergency shelter, also known as Sunrise Village. Since 1977, for 4 decades, our confidential emergency shelter, Sunrise Village, has been a critical resource for those seeking safety, providing over 3,689 bed nights a year. We know that access to shelter is essential to breaking the cycle of violence. Excuse me. Because when survivors have safety and stability, they can begin to rebuild their lives. Sunrise Village is a 16-bed shelter that is open 365 days a year, staffed by residential advocates who also operate our 24-hour emergency hotline. In this past year, we have received over 1,300 calls. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, our shelter has remained at capacity. We are currently using hotel vouchers to serve more people that are fleeing violence in their homes. We ensure all families have access to toiletries, food, and clothing. We expedite our services such as case management, individual therapy, legal, and housing services. Our goal is to ensure that everyone has a safe place to live after residing at our emergency shelter. This is either through permanent or transitional housing. More than 78% of survivor families at Sunrise Village Emergency Shelter move directly from our emergency shelter into safe housing. Some of the challenges we have faced as we try our best to move some of the challenges we have faced as we try our best to move people into permanent or transitional housing are affordability of units, discrimination due to not speaking the language or being undocumented, and having a low credit score due to financial abuse. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to share with you information on our residential program.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have comments or questions? Commissioner Kajayan?
Thank you. I've been in YWCA board member. I know about the shelter. Can you tell me how long they can stay in that shelter?
So our shelter is a 45-day emergency shelter, and it's for people that are actively fleeing domestic violence. However, our goal is to help them secure permanent housing, whether it's through transitional or permanent housing, before those 45 days are up. However, if we feel that it is necessary for us to extend past those 45 days to ensure that they do have that safe place, we will do so.
And their pantry donation is still going on?
Yes, so we have a Hope Closet at our Lexington facility, and the Hope Closet provides clothing, gently used, toiletries. We
Yes.
also have the food pantry where anyone experiencing any type of hardship in obtaining food can always come by and pick up some food at our center.
Thank you for this information.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Any other questions?
Commissioner Versalian?
So I have a question. How do you handle all the people that need housing, in the transitional and permanent phase? How do you handle all of that at the same time?
So we have a housing specialist who specifically focuses on supporting our participants that are at our Lexington location. And we have a housing case manager that focuses on the shelter participants once they come in. And they've built relationships with transitional housing facilities and with landlords within the city of Glendale and outside of the city of Glendale. So they are able to help secure units for us to get our participants into those units.
And do they get them at discounted rates, depending on their scores, like FICO scores? And
Absolutely. Right now, we are working with the city of Glendale with the emergency housing vouchers. So we are able to help them apply for those vouchers, which covers, I believe it's 70% of their, of the cost of the unit. So we're working on those as well.
And how long is that good for them, for the people that need it?
I believe they have to, there may be a renewal process yearly, but I believe it's a lifetime
Oh,
voucher.
okay. All right, well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
I have a couple of
yes.
questions as well. Does the 16 beds include children?
Yes, the 16 beds is only at our shelter.
So if you have let's say, a victim with 3 children, that's 4 of the
4,
beds?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And as you know, the commission has partnered with the Y on other things, Camp Rosie and that sort of thing, and, given grants. If we were to discuss and decide on providing additional help just to the shelter alone, is there something that you don't currently, other than the clothing, food pantry, and toiletries, is there something that you would like to be able to give to the residents who come, the temporary residents, that you can't now?
Well, I think that since they're actively fleeing, those are their basic needs, right? Because sometimes they just come with what they have on that day. And so we have to go out, and if we don't have those items in our Hope Closet, we go out to purchase them. I'll personally go out and get their sizes and go buy the clothing myself.
Wow.
And then make sure that they have enough clothing for a week. Everything from socks, underwear, pants, shirts, everything that somebody would need. So clothes is a big piece of it.
Okay.
I think given that there's just such a high need for it.
Okay. So for instance, a donation to the Hope Closet
Yes.
would be helpful.
Yes.
What about, for instance, towels and other things like that?
Absolutely. We are always in need of towels. Anything that a person would need in their home is what we need.
Okay,
Sure.
sure, go ahead.
Sorry.
So on that same tangent, 16 beds, especially with families, because I know that a lot of families struggling with domestic violence, they come together. Are you guys looking to expand through 16 beds? Is that something you're in the process of, or is it just, it's too big of a scope?
Unfortunately, we can't expand more beds because that's the capacity that our city allows for us to have in that unit. And so we went from a 12-bed shelter to 16. We were able to expand, and maybe in the future we'll be able to expand more. I think that's why we've definitely benefited from using the hotel vouchers to be able to keep more people, help them get out of their situation. And they receive the exact same services that anyone at our shelters receiving because they're a participant with us the minute they come into our into the hotel. We just have to coordinate Instacart or food delivery for them and the toiletries and personally take them over to them. So there's a lot of coordination that goes on behind the scenes from our team that to get them everything that they need.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, I'm trying to hone in on a few ideas that we could decide on. Do some organizations do clothing drives, for instance, for Hope Closet?
We do. Ariana, who is our DV services manager, they reach out to her a lot to do drives for us, especially during the holidays.
Okay.
We do have our sponsor a family program, but there's people that don't want to specifically sponsor a family. They want to just do a drive for us.
Okay.
So that's, yes, we more than welcome that.
Okay. Well, I would assume hopefully we'll be in touch with you and or Ariana and talk about specifics, and then we could address it at the next meeting if everybody agrees. Oh, sure. And Commissioner Brasilian?
Yes, hi. Where do you find the landlords who want to participate in these programs? Do you call on them? Is there a list? And is it mainly for the city of within the city of Glendale, or do you go outside the city of Glendale
We
as
do
well?
both in the city of Glendale and outside. So it's, we've had our housing program for several years now. And our housing specialist, she's really great at networking and building relationships with community members. And that's how we've been able to connect to these units. And so once they start working with her, she builds a relationship with them. And so they see that our participants or people that reside in those units are, doing really well. And they continue having our support throughout their time there. So they really enjoy working with her. And so I think that's why they continue to reach out to us, or we'll reach out to them if we know that there's something available.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions? Well, thank you so much. The Commission's had a long-standing relationship with the Y, and this seems like a way we can further it and, specifically help in a specific way. So,
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me tonight.
thank you for coming.
Thank you. Good.
Next item on the agenda, please.
Next agenda item is for oral comment, oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. The commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or discussion. Staff may refer the matter to the proper department for investigation and report. At this moment, we do not have any callers.
Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
Next item is 5 consent items. 5A, approval of the minutes of the regular commission meeting held on August 8th, 2022.
May I have a motion on this item?
All right, motion to approve.
I seconded.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brasalian,
Yes.
Commissioner Kojayan,
Yes.
Commissioner Perrian, Commissioner Tatians, Chair Lambalot.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item is 6 action items. Consideration, 6A is consideration of time change of the regular meetings for the Commission on the Status of Women. 1, resolution of the Commission on the Status of Women to set the time of regular meeting.
Ms. Powers, can you please provide a report on this item?
Certainly. Chair Lambalot, members of the commission, at the last meeting of the commission in August, Commissioner Brusalian requested a report that was seconded by Commissioner Perrion to consider changing the regular meeting time of the commission to 4 p.m. Since there are no other meetings on these regularly scheduled meeting days, the commission is free to meet at this time, and this time also works for the student commissioners as well, as it is still considered afternoon after school. And according to the Glendale Municipal Code that establishes the Commission on the Status of Women, the commission is allowed to set and change the dates and times of their quarterly meetings by resolution. And so currently, the regular meetings are held quarterly on the second Monday of the months of February, May, August, and November at 5:30 p.m. The commission has been meeting at 5:30 p.m. since 2011, and prior to that, the commission did meet, since it was established through 2011, at 6:30 p.m. So that concludes the report. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any comments? It's open for discussion at this point.
No.
May I have a motion to adopt this resolution, the 4 p.m.?
I agree with the alternative 1. The commission may approve a resolution that changes the time of its regular meetings from 5:30 p.m. to 4 p.m.
And that is the motion you're making.
Yes.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brusalian,
Yes.
Commissioner Kojayan,
Yes.
Commissioner Perrion, Commissioner Tatians, Chair Lambalot.
Yes.
Next item is 6B, consideration of event in recognition of International Women's Day. 1, motion to appoint an ad hoc committee to plan an event in March 2023 for International Women's Day.
Ms. Powers, can you provide a report on this item as well?
Certainly, Chair Lambalot, members of the commission, International Women's Day is recognized globally on March 8th and is a day to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women, and is also a call to action for accelerating women's equality. It has taken place for well over a century, and it belongs to all groups collectively everywhere, and is not tied to any specific group, organization, or country. Should the commission want to recognize and celebrate International Women's Day in March of 2023, an ad hoc committee can be formed to identify any stakeholders that the commission can partner with to organize an event. This ad hoc committee would work with staff on planning the event and would come back to the commission at the next regular meeting in February to share the details of the event planned as an information-only item. Should the commission be interested in this, staff recommends appointing no more than 2 commissioners to the ad hoc committee. And as far as costs are concerned, the commission may set any potential not to exceed amount costs for this event, or choose not to allot any funds and indicate that any costs would need to be absorbed by partner organizations. And so there are organizations in the community that have done International Women's Day events in the past in this community, and so that is certainly something that staff can help the ad hoc committee explore those partnerships and see if the commission can join in on such events, such as like a panel discussion or something of that sort. And that concludes the report. Thank you.
Ms. Powers, is there any way to determine if we wanted to allocate a sum, say $500, we can do that at this point, should we need it? Should we want to, prepare something for what we're doing?
Certainly, yes. The commission can at this time allocate funding up to exceed not a certain amount and give that authority to the ad hoc committee. So as they go into planning there, they have some sort of funding to work with.
And we don't really have, there's no parameters at this point. We don't really have any.
No, so it's
Okay,
completely at the commission's discretion to allot a specified amount of money or say that we'd like to do this without any funding and see what other potential partners can bring to the table.
Okay, the item's open for discussion. Let's do next officio, Roth.
I think an event to foster just a focus on recognizing women, especially in our community, would have a great effect. I think that we could really put a lot of power behind it and truly use it as an event to bring together the women and the girls in the community. I think that it's a great idea. I'd love to join the ad hoc. I don't know if we're having any officios on it, but I think that we, as a commission, it would be a great idea to celebrate and recognize International Women's Day.
Ms. Powers?
Sure, certainly. Chair Lamblot, members of the commission, ex officios are always welcome to join the ad hoc committees. I did neglect to note in my presentation that Commissioner Tatians did reach out and is interested in serving on this ad hoc, so that's just something for the commission to consider as you discuss this.
Great, thank you for that. Would either Commissioner Bruselian or Commissioner Kojayan wish to join that ad hoc committee? No? No? Okay. Well, then we can, perhaps Commissioner Perrion would like to, I don't know if we can do that later, but we've got then Commissioner Tatian and student ex officio Roth on the ad hoc.
And that on its own, Chair Lamblot, members of the commission, that on its own is okay. If
Okay.
you have one, it's up to two.
Okay.
So certainly, if you want to leave it at the one, that's certainly appropriate.
Okay. And, you know, my comment is I'd be inclined to include in the motion funding up to, I don't really know what's reasonable, but I would say no more than $1,000, $500 or $1,000 if one of the commissioners agrees and wants to make a motion to that effect. I think there may be, hopefully we can partner with another organization who's already got something underway, but if there's something additional that we can add to it and it does require funding, I would hate for us not to be able to do it if, you know, for lack of funding.
I agree with.
I have a question. Where would we have this event? Where would it take place, and what would what would the planning of it entail exactly?
That's a very good question. That would be up to the commission and any potential partners. So some previous International Women's Day events that have taken place in recent years in the city of Glendale were organized by Economic Development Department and our Downtown Glendale Association, and they've been at CBRE building in downtown Glendale. They've been at other locations. There's also always the Central Library Auditorium is a very popular venue that is great for panel discussions, should a panel discussion be the direction that the commission goes in. So there's city venues that, you know, as members of the commission, and since it's a city entity, utilizing city facilities at no cost compared to outside groups who would usually have to rent facilities. So there's always city venues to look at, and also depending on who your partners are, endless other potentials.
And who have been the partners in the past exactly?
Commissioner Bruselian, to answer your question, the commission has never embarked on such a event on their own. So these are just other events that other organizations have done. But this is something that was brought to the commission as an opportunity, and given the timing and the quarterly meetings, and in discussion with Chair Lamblot, felt that it was best to present it in this way and give that authority to an ad hoc committee to go ahead and plan this with staff, staff being there, you know, in full step with the ad hoc committee to ensure that it would be something that the commission would approve of.
And it sounds like one of the partners could be another department in the city.
Could potentially be, sure.
Possibly, okay.
You know, there's also library does author talks, so that's also something to consider. You know, featuring a female author who, you know, would write about, you know, women's achievements and accomplishments, for example. It would just be something that the ad hoc would explore with staff.
So the $1,000 or up to the $1,000, would that take care of manpower to reach out to some of these organizations, or would it cover food and drinks or decorations or all of the above?
Certainly, to answer your question, Commissioner Brusalian and members of the commission, any outreach from staff would just be outreach. That would be work that staff would do. So
Oh,
any
okay.
sort of planning type of things would be just staff and absorbed by staff costs. This would be potentially securing a speaker. It could be advertisement. It could be,
Materials of some
materials
sort?
for the event itself, refreshments, and it could be a small portion of what you allot. And it could be that your partners have everything covered, or they would look to you and say, can you do this much? So the commission being able to set some sort of threshold for funding would give that flexibility to the ad hoc committee to be able to say, yes, we can do this, or no, we can't do this.
And would it be advertised through the city's website or social media?
Absolutely, absolutely, through the city's website, social media, and then depending on who the partners are, through their
Through their own organizations?
networks as well.
Got it.
Certainly.
Okay.
Is it possible we can look for potential sponsor for this?
Absolutely. Yes, that's a great idea, Commissioner Kojayan.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? No. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Motion to move to participate
To form the ad hoc
from the
committee
ad hoc.
with Commissioner Tatian on it, and if there is any funding ceiling that we want to include.
I motion to move it ahead.
I'm sorry, before we move forward, can we get some direction on the amount of funding? Because I think there was a range from 500 to 1,000, and I'm not quite sure if the other commissioners provided their feedback as to a specific.
Can we have the feedback from the other commissioners on the
$1,000.
Yeah, I think $1,000
Okay,
is
perfect. So the motion,
to
as it
1,000.
stands, is to establish an ad hoc committee that Commissioner Tatians and ex officio Roth would serve on alongside staff to plan a International Women's Day event in March 2023 with funding not to exceed $1,000.
Yes.
If needed, I can help too.
Would you like to join the ad hoc committee?
Not- From outside, I will be helpful to them.
Okay, so just to be clear, when we form a committee,
Yes.
you are committing to participate in the committee's activities. From the outside may not work because now we need to provide proper notice. We need to make sure that you're included. If you have a specific idea or a suggestion that you'd like to send to Ms. Powers, you're certainly welcome. Anybody's welcome to do that.
Okay.
For her consideration, but not necessarily for the committee's deliberation. We just want to be careful not to violate any Brown Act requirements.
Thank you.
So you are not volunteering for the committee, correct?
No.
Okay, great. So
So the motion, as was just previously stated, and I believe Commissioner Brusalian, you were going
Yes.
to. Okay.
do we have a second?
Yes, I second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brusalian,
Yes.
Commissioner Kojayan,
Yes.
Commissioner Perrian, Commissioner Tatian, Chair Lambalot.
Yes.
Next item is 7, reports information only. 7A, legislative update, governor's action on state legislation.
Ms. Powers, could we have a report, please?
Certainly. Chair Lambalot, members of the commission, at the last meeting, the commission received an update on state legislation that you all had recommended to City Council for their approval. The state legislature had until August 31st to pass any legislation for the governor's consideration, after which the governor had until September 30th to approve or veto those bills that passed. Of the 7 bills that were on the commission's legislative agenda, 6 did not make it out of committee, meaning that the state legislature didn't pass those bills, and those bills are now dead. The only one bill that passed out of the state legislature that was on the committee, the commission's agenda, was vetoed by the governor, and that was Senate Bill 974 by Portantino regarding healthcare coverage for diagnostic imaging. In his veto message, the governor cited the importance of breast cancer screenings and funding for it, but indicated that what the bill was proposing involved the implementation of a standard that isn't included at the federal level, and that the federal government is currently in the process of updating their recommendations on breast cancer screenings regarding this. And as such, he indicated that the bill is just slightly premature, and so for that reason, he vetoed it. The state legislature will convene on December 5th for their new 23-24 session, and this will be the first of a 2-year session, which means that the state legislature will start over with all bills, and none of the bills that have been on the legislative agenda right now will carry over. So anything that we were looking at before is dead, and so the state legislature will start introducing new bills, probably some in December, but mostly starting in January and February.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Powers about that report? No. Okay, next item, please.
7B, update on Domestic Violence Awareness Month activities.
Ms. Powers, could we have a report?
Certainly. This year, the Commission recognized October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month to raise awareness of domestic violence, and to help prevent and eliminate violence within the city of Glendale. On September 27, Chair Lambalot accepted a proclamation on behalf of the Commission from the Mayor and City Council designating the month of October 2022 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Glendale. The Commission also participated in the Purple Light Nights campaign by lighting City Hall with purple lights throughout the month of October in honor of DVAM. And once again, the Commission partnered with the YWCA of Glendale and Pasadena for the annual Purple Tie Awards and Candlelight Vigil. This event was held on the front steps of City Hall on October 27th. Mayor Kasakian and Chair Lambalot both provided opening remarks at the event on behalf of the City Council and the Commission, respectively. Officer Aaron Kim of the Glendale Police Department was awarded the Law Enforcement Advocate of the Year, and Howard Smith of the Pasadena Federal Credit Union was honored as the Community Partner Advocate of the Year. Special recognition was also given to former Chief of Police Carl Povolitis for his 32 years of service to the Glendale community. The program also included survivor stories and ended with a candlelight vigil in honor of those who have lost their lives to domestic violence. As far as the costs for this event, the city absorbed staffing costs associated with setting up for the event, but the Commission covered the cost of the awards provided to each honoree, which totaled just under $315. That concludes my report. If you have any questions on that.
Thank you. Next item, please.
7C, update on sponsorship of Glendale Unified School District Yellow Ribbon Week Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting project.
Ms. Powers, a report, please.
At the last meeting in August of 22, the Commission took action to sponsor the Hands and Words Project, which is an anti-violence program during Glendale Unified School District's Yellow Ribbon Week. This takes place the week of Martin Luther King Jr. Day in January of 2023. All 30 schools in GUSD will participate in the program, which includes 20 elementary schools, 4 middle schools, and 5 high schools. Of the various materials available through this program, the school district requested silicone wristbands, stickers, window decals, and brochures. The wristbands and stickers will be distributed to students at all the schools, and the two window decals will go up in each school's administration office as a reminder to students, teachers, staff, and parents about the program. And brochures will be distributed amongst all the schools and provided in the offices for parents and staff to learn more about the program. Staff has already ordered the materials that were requested, and the cost should not exceed $3,200 as set by the Commission at the last meeting. The GUSD Board of Education will hold a meeting on Tuesday, January 17, 23, which is Yellow Ribbon Week, and staff will coordinate having the chair and any interested commissioners attend this meeting to announce the sponsorship and to thank the board for their support of this program. So if that's something you'd like to participate in, please let staff know. And then it'll be very interesting to hear from our ex officios in February, what came of the program and, what they saw in their schools. And that concludes the report. If there's any questions, thank you.
We'll look forward to hearing what you've observed and how you feel about what happened at our February meeting, Ms. Roth. Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
Next item is 7D, update on strategic plan.
Ms. Powers.
For your final report this evening, Chair Lambalot and members of the commission. So earlier this year, a strategic development ad hoc committee was formed by the commission to review the current strategic plan that's set to expire at the end of this year and work with staff to identify future strategic aims and goals in drafting a new strategic plan. The ad hoc committee did meet and draft a new plan, and staff will work on organizing a public meeting in January of '23 to obtain feedback on this draft plan. The public meeting will be open to the community, and invitations will be sent to key stakeholders and partners of the commission who serve women and girls in the community, such as the YWCA, Seroptimist International of Glendale, Ascensia Armenian Relief Society, the Glendale Unified School District, the Community College, and our 3 local area hospitals. After receiving public feedback, the committee will have the opportunity to revise the draft plan based on comments received from the public prior to bringing it back to the commission in February for final approval. And once the commission approves the strategic plan, it will go to City Council for their final approval and adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Powers. Next item, please.
Next item is 8, commission on the status of women/staff comments.
Does anyone have any comments? Commissioner Kajayan.
I would like to wish everyone happy Thanksgiving because it's coming. Healthy and happy Thanksgiving with your family.
Thank you.
Ms. Powers, would you join us up here at the dais?
We have the camera.
I think everybody in this room knows that Ms. Powers is leaving the city of Glendale and therefore leaving the commission, and we are very sad about that, but very happy that you are moving on to a next adventure. So we wanted to present you with a card and these flowers to say thank you. It's just a small, small token, but sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Let's have a group picture.
In the middle of our meeting?
Yes.
Lucy okayed it.
It's here. There.
As long as Lucy says it's okay.
Lucy okayed it.
Can you do one with my camera?
Here.
Oh, please. Oh, you
Okay.
send it? Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you all. And again, we can't begin to thank you, Ms. Powers, for all your work and input and support. It's been overwhelming, and I don't know what we're going to do without you, but we will soldier on. I'm now requesting a motion of adjournment.
Before that.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
There's just 2 things I had. One, I wanted to just announce that Commissioner Kojayan, and thank you for the flowers, by the way. Thank you very much. Commissioner Kojayan is being recognized by the Western Diocese of the Armenian Church on November 30th at an event hosted by Archbishop Hovnan Derderian and the Ladies Guild of the Western Diocese for her continuous dedication, commitment, and benevolence to the Armenian community at large and to the church. Anyone who's interested in attending this event can reach out to the Western Diocese office in Burbank or contact Management Services, and we can provide them with the information. And I just wanted to say thank you all. It's been a privilege to serve the commission for over 10 years, and miss working with all of you in this capacity. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wishing you good luck for a new avenue. Keep in touch.
Okay, then I am now requesting a motion of adjournment.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
Meeting adjourned at 6:18 p.m. in memory of Shirak Kajayan.
Thank you.
Really, I appreciate it. Thank you. Wishing you, God bless you.